Hello, everybody. Welcome to Above the Rim, presented by Afterthought Sports. I'm Austin Townley, and I'm joined by the one, the only James Derrick. And today is the NBA trade deadline, and we're here to cover every trade that has gone down today in the past few weeks.
Just a couple hours ago, or not hours ago, minutes ago was the trade deadline. It's officially over. We're probably going to get some tweets rolling in as this episode is being recorded, but we'll talk about them as they roll in. We've had a couple rolling in the past few minutes. Nothing too major though. So if you want to get started, we can grade some trades possibly. Yeah.
Let's go over the deadline, man. Welcome back to Above the Rim. We're back and we're better under a new team with Afterthought Sports, and we just want to make great content. So let's go to the first trade, man. What do we have?
So first thing I've got for you. This was a while ago. Dennis Schroeder is not even on the Warriors anymore. However, the first trade, this was back December 15th. We have Dennis Schroeder going to the Warriors. The Warriors receive him, a 2025 second-round pick via Miami. It's top 37 protected.
It's a weird protection.
Very specific protection for a second-rounder. And the Nets receive DeAnthony Melton, Reese Beekman, 2026 second rounder, 2028 second rounder, and a 2029 second rounder. Those first two via Atlanta, last one Golden State. It's not too crazy of a trade. I think Dennis Schroeder went to Golden State and he did have some impact pretty soon there, but clearly since they already moved on from him,
he was struggling to shoot the ball a little bit in Golden State, so I'm not surprised that they ended up moving him again. I think going into that trade, Golden State knew that they actually wanted to take on Dennis Schroeder as a trade asset later on, as we will see, to make the big splash happen. But coming up next, we do have the Lakers and the Nets trade. This is the D'Angelo Russell trade. The Lakers are receiving Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton for the Brooklyn Nets, D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis, and 3 second-round picks. I love this trade. I love seeing D'Angelo Russell in Brooklyn. I actually watched his first game back with the Nets, and he played awesome. Came off the bench. He's been in and out of the starting lineup, but he's been pretty good for them, especially down the stretch. I think they beat the Lakers not too long ago because of D'Angelo Russell.
No,
or was it the Hawks?
He actually he just recently he missed a game winner against the Lakers, but he did actually hit a game winner. Where the Nets scored 6 points in like 2 seconds. They beat the Rockets, who've been very good as of late. So,
I saw that play. It was it's like a loose ball, and they kicked it out to D'Angelo Russell. He hit the 3.
Loose ball. He had a
cool
walk-in 3. It was good. Good look.
It was a good
I'm glad he made it. Although the Rockets have been very exciting. I think there's a lot to talk about with them. But I think we're just gonna keep it moving here. We don't mention the Rockets during this trade deadline, which I find pretty interesting.
That's kind of weird. That is really weird.
I think they're definitely a young team that could have
made a move.
Made a
significant move, to be honest with you.
But then again, they've got so much great young talent. Maybe they don't want to move any of it. You know what I mean? Maybe they just want to keep all of it.
I think I know exactly what the Rockets are doing. Unfortunately, they're waiting for Devin Booker to become available. That's exactly what they're doing. And newsflash, that's never going to happen. So keep dreaming, Houston.
Yeah, but speaking of your Suns, I'll let you talk about this one. The Suns acquired Nick Richards from the Hornets.
This is a big one. This is very important, and I think it's very impactful. Later down the line, we're going to see. The Phoenix Suns received Nick Richards and 1 second-round pick, and the Hornets received Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks. The trade between the Suns and the Hornets for Nick Richards. Nick Richards came into Phoenix, and he immediately made a massive impact. I think his first 3 games, he was averaging about 14 points and 11 rebounds. What more can you ask for a big man, especially when that has been Phoenix's missing piece this whole time?
Yeah, this would be the first big man that would be on the move from the Hornets. Interesting there.
Very interesting.
I think it's important that Nick Richards has come in and had a good impact for the Suns. However, it still hasn't quite moved the needle for you guys. It's kind of interesting how your team – you're getting good stuff from Nick Richards.
Yeah. He's been good production-wise.
But you've kind of yet to see the needle move in a positive or negative direction.
It's very weird.
With a superstar-loaded roster, you just watched the game last night. I don't know if anyone knew the final score of that Suns-Thunder game. You guys lost by about 30 to the best team in the league. You almost expected it, but what do you want? You wanted to see a little more from the Suns this deadline, or what?
Well, going back to the Thunder game, there's no Kevin Durant and no Devin Booker in the second half. That game doesn't mean anything to me. I knew we were going to lose as soon as Kevin Durant was ruled out. But as for the Suns as a whole at the trade deadline, I think we made enough moves where it's going to keep us in the middle of the pack. I don't expect Phoenix to do anything crazy this season. And to be completely honest with you, I would not be surprised if the next thing that they do is focus on the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix makes some very, very drastic big moves this upcoming offseason because of all of the trade buzz surrounding them this trade deadline, which, to be honest with you, this trade deadline has been the absolute craziest NBA trade deadline I've ever witnessed, heard of, been a part of in my entire life. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Phoenix Suns shake up their roster big time in the offseason.
So you're kind of looking forward to the offseason. You still want to get into the playoffs, give your superstars a chance to fight in there. I think no matter what, you guys are a team that makes noise. But
yeah, when you're looking at it, the playoffs really come down to half-court offenses, who has the best sets in the half-court. Because the playoffs is not so much fast break. It's a lot of half-court sets, a lot more, sets. It's not fast break points that you're going to get all the time in a regular NBA game.
And especially, ATOs, your after timeout plays, when the other team is on a run. And I definitely noticed this last night in that Thunder game, at least the one play, Thunder go on a run to start the second half. They go up by, 7 or 8. And Budenholzer calls a timeout. You get a play drawn up. Devin Booker actually does get a good look, a nice little mid-range jumper. They could have had a couple of things on that play, but he settles for the mid-range jumper. It was open. Great look. Missed it. So I think you kind of definitely have the pieces there. Bud got them in a good spot to stop that run. Again, it just comes down to execution. I think ultimately in the playoffs with the star power you'll have the execution when it's important. But
I do agree. I think we have two of the best playoff performers in the game right now, and Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. We saw what Devin Booker can do in the playoffs when he gets there. We know what Kevin Durant can do when he gets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the first time that Bradley Beal was in the playoffs, he played incredible. And even last season, he was arguably our second best player last year in the playoffs. And so you can look at a bunch of different directions with this Phoenix Suns team. It's really hit or miss. It's probably the most wild card NBA team in the league right now. To be honest with you, they could end up winning the ring. Like, full seriousness, they could end up winning the championship, but they could also just not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
this is the most wild card team I've seen in a minute, and the NBA has their eyes locked on the Phoenix Suns, hoping Kevin Durant becomes available, hoping Devin Booker becomes available. So it's just kind of things to look out for the offseason.
Yeah, you guys also landed 3 first-rounders from the Utah Jazz. The Suns get a 2025 least favorable first-round pick, a 2027 least favorable first-round pick, and a 2029 least favorable first-round pick. There's protections on the 2025 and 2029. I would assume it doesn't specify. I would assume maybe lottery protected. However, if you're getting the least favorable first round pick, it should be out of the lottery. You should get those. I think you guys just definitely needed some first round picks back in your inventory. I think they were all gone.
So actually, with this trade, this opens Phoenix's draft for the next 6 years. So this is a lot deeper than it actually looks and it seems. With this trade, this unlocks the next 6 NBA drafts for the Phoenix Suns, who originally, before this trade, was pretty much one draft pick, one first-round pick that they could get rid of. And this opened up a slew of possibilities for the Phoenix Suns for the next upcoming years. I don't know why Utah gave us all of these picks. I mean, I do, because according to Utah Jazz, this 2031 unprotected first-round picks from the Phoenix Suns is the most valuable asset on the market right now, according to Danny Ainge. So, we will see if that actually ends up being the most valuable asset on the market come 2031.
I
mean, it's 2025.
I don't know.
This kid's in what, 8th grade right now? Whoever they're gonna draft with this, like, there's no way it can't even, like, who knows where we're gonna be at in 2031? Like Kevin Durant will probably be retired. Devin Booker will probably be the only Phoenix Sun on this team that is still on that team in 6 years from now, and it could potentially be like one of his last seasons. So maybe he's onto something. But to be honest with you, 6 years from now, as a Phoenix Suns fan, I don't care about that first round pick. I don't. Getting rid of that one pick, opening up the next 6 drafts, I do that every day in a heartbeat, without a thought.
Sure, yeah. I honestly don't know why that trade goes through, but it does.
Yeah.
Turning 1 into 3. Next, we've got the Clippers. They're going to trade P.J. Tucker to the Jazz. The Clippers are going to get Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills. And the Jazz are going to get Mo Bamba, P.J. Tucker, a 20-30 second-round pick, and some cash considerations. Whatever the hell cash considerations means. Like how much money do you think goes between these organizations on these trades?
One time, though, I remember, I think it was, what year was this? We traded someone for a printer, the Phoenix Suns. I swear to God, they traded someone for a printer. I shit you not.
I want to look that up.
Dude, it's actually hilarious. It might have been Josh Jackson or like T.J. Warren got traded for a printer. I think it was T.J. Warren. So funny, bro.
No, okay, hold on. Nothing's coming up.
Nah, man. If you go back to those reports,
we can
it was cash considerations, and they bought a printer with it.
So wait,
Dead serious.
That's just funny.
Like I wish I was making this up as a joke. No, that's for real. That was like an actual report. They bought a printer.
Yeah. And then after this, actually. Yeah, no, we'll just go straight into it. This is the big trade. If you want to announce the big trade, this is
the biggest NBA trade I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, hands down, hands down, without a doubt. This is the craziest thing that has ever crossed my phone screen, ever. A random Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna remember what they were doing, where they were, what day this was. The day that Luka Doncic was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. This is the biggest trade in NBA history.
And I don't think anyone disagrees with you. I think that's just the state we're in right now. We got 2 first-team All-NBA guys being traded for each other.
Man, I've got chills talking about this. I'm not kidding. This is the craziest trade in NBA history, like hands down. The Los Angeles Lakers are trading away Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick for Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. The Utah Jazz were also involved in this trade.
They facilitated this trade.
Not knowing what they were facilitating, the Utah Jazz also picked up from the Lakers Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks, one of them being a Clippers pick.
However, I mean, if you are the Jazz, I don't think I need to know what trade I'm facilitating. You get Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-rounders, you say yes and shut up.
Yeah, that's actually a great deal. Jalen Hood-Schifino should be great in Utah. You know, they have a lot of good young players over there. They're a developmental team for sure.
They're a work in progress, but they'll take it.
They'll take it. And I'm still blown away. Nobody knew. Anthony Davis didn't know. Luka Doncic didn't know. LeBron James did not know.
The GM didn't know.
The Utah Jazz didn't even know what trade they were facilitating. This is unreal. Like, when you see guys like this get moved, it's like, I want out. I'm demanding a trade. Trade me to here. Mm-hmm. These days, it's been trade me and trade me here.
And honestly, usually when a lot of these guys want out and they do ultimately get traded, you don't see that much value involved in a trade because like a Jimmy Butler situation, like over the course of asking out, you kind of decrease in trade value because people think, you're a cancer to the locker room, this or that. Mm-hmm. But none of that happened here.
It's unreal. Like, this was the most well-kept secret in NBA history that the Mavs wanted to get rid of Luka Doncic. I mean, so much, so well-kept that Luka didn't even know. Like, Luka just bought a house in Dallas for $15 million, reportedly. And then he was crying when he found out that he got traded because he had no idea.
I'm sure he was. I mean, people say the first time you get traded is definitely like you're almost gonna cry no matter what because I think no matter what when you're drafted by an organization you think you're gonna stay there.
He was drafted by Atlanta.
Well, he was immediately Maverick,
flipped
but
into
still
the Mavericks. But still,
when you begin your career somewhere, I think a lot of people would most likely want to stay there unless they're drafted to a It's just a crappy team like the Wizards or something.
Dude, it still blows my mind. We are about a week away from when this trade happened. Dude, Luka Doncic is a Laker.
Yeah, I mean,
what in the world?
And there's been a lot of talk. I mean, there's been a lot of people cutting a lot of slack for the Mavs. What do you think? I mean, ESPN even gave out an F trade grade for the Mavs here.
That's insane.
You gotta. We'll give some grades to the bigger trades that we discuss here today. What if you had to give a letter? A+ being the best, F- being the worst possible trade. Let's start with the easy one, the Utah Jazz. What do you give them for this trade?
I'm gonna give the Utah Jazz a solid. A B.
Yeah, they don't give up much.
They didn't really give up much. They got back a good young talented player, and they got 2 second-round picks. There's not really anything to complain about that, other than not knowing what you were facilitating. If I'm the Lakers, I would not expect the Utah Jazz to ever accept a trade from us ever again. To be honest with you.
Why? Because I think you're doing something shady in the background.
No, I mean, like, the Utah Jazz GM is pissed about this. Like, he's mad.
Really?
He's mad. He didn't know.
Well, I guess if you got to piss off some people to get Luka Doncic, it doesn't really matter.
It can be the Utah Jazz. They suck.
It can be the Utah Jazz. Who do you want from the Utah Jazz in the next 5 years?
Nobody, unless his name is Lauri Markkanen.
I'm saying the Cooper Flag.
Oh, yeah, Cooper Flag could very well end up being a Utah Jazz by the end of the year.
All right, so we get a B for the Jazz. I think I'll agree, B-, C+, just because they don't really get a whole ton back, but like
I'm pretty sure they just gave up second-round picks.
Like, that's easy, Yeah. Shit, man.
The Dallas Mavericks receiving Anthony Davis and Max Christie in a 2029 first-round pick.
Grade this.
It's not an F, but it's not the return you want for Luka. Then again, people are acting like Anthony Davis is like some garbage player. He's still top 10 in the league. This is an unreal return in the sense of like player talent-wise. Unreal. You really cannot ask for anybody better talent-wise if you're trading Luka Doncic. I mean, you're getting a guy that is elite. When I say elite, top 10 elite in both categories, offensively and defensively. You cannot complain about getting Anthony Davis. Granted, I think Dallas should have gotten more first-round picks.
I think that's if the Lakers could have added some more first-round picks, they would have. But I think the Lakers knew, we're not done after this trade goes through. So they wanted to save what they had, but still, you got to get them from somewhere.
I don't know, man.
Maybe a fourth team.
They gave up Anthony Davis and Max Christie and a first-round pick. Dallas, I'm going to give you like a B+ for this, a B. You could have gotten more. And in fact, the deal was more. And Rob Pelinka basically gaslit Nico Harrison and was like, listen, Luka's fat. You don't want him. Why should we want him? He's fat.
Listen here, buddy. We don't want no fat Luka Doncic.
Bro, I've never in my life heard of a team trading someone because they're fat. Not even Zion, dude.
Yeah.
Hey,
not even Zion's been traded.
You're
for
fat.
Being fat.
We're trading you, even though you're a 5-time All-NBA first team in your first 6 seasons. We don't want you. You're too fat for us. They went to the finals last year, dog. A year ago. The Dallas Mavericks went to the finals a year ago, not even. And they just traded him away because he's fat. That's the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I guess so.
Unreal.
You trade away your franchise player. I mean, the thing is, though, these are such different players. Luka's kind of like, I don't know. You definitely see it from time to time, and I know definitely, anyone who knows about this trade has also seen the clips from last year's finals, how bad he got cooked on a couple of those possessions.
I think bad is like an understatement.
Yeah, I get. Yes.
I'd use the word horrific.
But I think the most exciting thing about this that I've talked about is that we've got 2 NBA players that have won championships alongside LeBron James. And now we get the chance to put it to the test and say, who won those championships? Was it LeBron or was it Kyrie? Was it LeBron or was it AD? Because if Kyrie and AD go and they make it at least to the Western Conference Finals,
it's pretty good.
I'd say like Game 7 Western Conference
success.
Finals. I feel like that's somewhat of a success. Now, if they go and they win the championship, I think not only does that prove so much for them individually, but it almost ends the GOAT debate right there.
You think?
Because now people can say, look how much help LeBron had. He had
that is true.
Kyrie and AD. They went and won it themselves one year. You know what I mean? Without LeBron.
I think that if the Dallas Mavericks do go on and win the NBA Finals, I think that also says a lot about Luka Doncic. I mean, granted, he's spectacular when it comes to offense. He's actually the best in the league when it comes to offense. Anybody better, to be honest with you, is probably just Jokic offensively when it comes to basketball. It's him and Jokic. Now, on the defensive end, I mean, he's a traffic cone. You can't guard anybody, Luka.
Definitely.
Maybe that'll change. He's going to be next to LeBron James every single day. And if you think Luka Doncic is not going to whip himself into shape next to LeBron, dude, you're tripping.
I feel like if he did ever feel like he was out of shape, that would just be such an embarrassing thing. I'm playing with possibly the GOAT right now, and I feel like I'm out of breath and I'm out of shape. I feel like that's almost like mentally you're not gonna let yourself have any excuses when you're playing alongside LeBron James. But we'll ultimately see what happens with that. I also think it's worth noting that AD's last game as a Laker, he had 40 and 20. He had 20 and 10 in like the first quarter.
Yeah, that was unreal.
If I have to give a grade for the Mavs on this trade, I'd go B. It really could be anywhere from the B range to after the season if they win a championship, A+. It really, I don't know. Yeah. But I'd say for now, given where they are in the standings, given how much work they still have to do, we haven't even seen them play together, B. For the Lakers, you get Luka Doncic, you get your franchise player for 10 more years at least. Luka Doncic is also the type of player where being slow really shouldn't affect how good he is as he gets older. I feel like he's someone who, with his shooting ability, could play till he's 38 years old.
Yeah.
I think this is a slam dunk A+. Doesn't matter what your team looks like for the next 5 years. You have Luka Doncic.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what picks you give up either, because you have, again, Luka Doncic on your team. A+ for the Lakers. No matter who you give up for Luka Doncic, if you get Luka Doncic, you just change the entire landscape of your NBA franchise. The Lakers are set for literally the next 10 years.
You could have your first-round picks from now till 2035 all be top 10 picks.
It's insane.
And you will not draft Luka Doncic again.
It still blows my mind, the fact that the Mavericks traded a guy like Luka Doncic. I'll never understand it. I mean, yes, it improves them defensively, the Mavericks, from a defensive standpoint, and I do think that they have a really, really good shot of winning the championship. But you gave LeBron James Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
And they weren't done. I mean, we got another few trades to cover here that the Lakers make some pretty good moves, and their lineup is very significantly better, to be honest with you.
I say we talk about it right now. I say we can get into it. The Lakers also not done. They get Mark Williams from the Hornets. The Hornets got back quite a haul, though. They received Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, a 2031 first-round pick, and a 2030 pick swap, which I don't know if that's really been specified as to who gets what, but still very early on after the trade. I think my initial thoughts are, wow, we're going to, the Lakers are going to ask a lot from Mark Williams. He has to come into LA with new teammates and be the center to make up for everything everyone's been talking about for the past, week or so now. So I think they're asking a lot from Mark Williams, but they could also get it from him too. He's been a talented player. He's young. He's got a lot ahead of him.
Oh, for sure. And even before they traded Anthony Davis was just on a Shams ESPN special saying how the Lakers need a center. So they've been needing a center, and I think the Charlotte Hornets knew that they were almost desperate in getting the center. I mean, because when they traded for Luka, they got rid of all that defense, and their only center on the roster was Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. Jackson Hayes he's decent, but he's not your starting center. He's not a playoff starting center by any means.
And Christian Wood, no disrespect, straight up just can't play anymore. I think he forgot how to play basketball. As much as I want anyone to succeed in the NBA, get your money, whatever, but he just forgot how to play.
Yeah, damn, Christian Wood fell off a cliff.
I don't know. Talk about the return for the Hornets.
Yeah, the return for the Hornets is crazy, to be honest with you. Yes, the Hornets got rid of Mark Williams. They traded both their centers this season, which is pretty crazy considering the season LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller are having.
Yeah, and I don't know what the plan is there.
I don't either. From a developmental standpoint, they had a great future ahead of them. Now they don't have a center, and I mean they could be going all in on Cooper Flag with this move. That is something to look out for. But the return that the Hornets get, Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, 1 first-round pick, and is this a second-round pick, 2030? Is it a first-round pick?
It didn't specify.
So it's just a pick swap. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that is a first-round pick.
But it's a swap, so I'm assuming you get one no matter what.
The Hornets fleeced the Lakers for this one, in my opinion. Dalton Connect, a 23-year-old rookie who can shoot the crap out of the ball, almost like J.J. Redick, who is seemingly a perfect fit under J.J. Redick, is now off the team. Cam Reddish has been a great defender for them. I understand they needed a center. I understand Mark Williams is actually a great talent. People don't really understand how good Mark Williams is because he's been in Charlotte this whole time.
And there's a lot of things in Charlotte that'll make you look away. You
exactly.
Know what I mean?
Same thing with Nick
Richards.
Richards.
and Brandon Miller there too.
Same thing with Nick Richards. He was coming off the bench for Charlotte, comes into Phoenix as a starting role, and he's asserting himself as one of those a better, dominant big man, a good starting center in the league. Mark Williams comes in.
Like an 80 overall in 2K.
He is. That's exactly what he is, actually. And then Mark Williams comes in for the Lakers. He immediately makes this team pretty good defensively. Mark Williams, he's having a great year. A great year.
Something that it'll go by the wayside if you didn't know he was getting traded to the Lakers.
Right. You wouldn't. Most NBA fans don't know who Mark Williams is because he's on the Charlotte Hornets, and they're not the greatest team. I mean, they have LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. They had a great landscape. Now they don't anymore. Dalton Connect is a great addition for them, but that's a good trade for the Lakers. But then again, it's a little bit of an overpay, but it is what they need. And I think the Charlotte Hornets knew that the Lakers were almost desperate for a center. I mean, reading the reports for the past few days, they were seemingly trying to get whatever center they could.
Yeah, and interesting thing to talk about is Dalton Connect is 23 years old, and Mark Williams is 23 years old. Mark Williams came into the league much younger than Dalton Connect, so keep in mind, it's not like they're getting older necessarily. Mark Williams is still a prospect, if you will. Yeah. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
I think, they got a decent return. Do you want to grade that trade or leave it up to people?
We'll leave it up to the people. I would say, to be honest with you, I'd give the Lakers a solid B- on that. They gave up a lot, but you got a great center. Charlotte Hornets, I give you guys probably a B- as well. You got a lot back, but to be honest, that was your only great center on your roster. So I don't know what you're doing moving forward because Phoenix got your other center today. So
yeah, I'll give the Hornets a nice little B+ because I think they get a good amount back. Probably just trade assets, to be honest. Yeah. Maybe draft night. Yeah. But B- for the Lakers. We'll see what Mark Williams ends up doing.
Next, we got another big one.
You can talk about this whale.
This might be my favorite one of the deadline.
This
to be
one
honest
definitely.
With you. This is awesome. This makes me want to watch the San Antonio Spurs even more than I already did before. Mm-hmm. I mean, Wemby's having an incredible, actually phenomenal second season. I mean, he's 5th in the MVP right now.
And an all-star.
He's a second-year guy, and he's an all-star. Congratulations, Wemby. Everybody saw this coming. Mm. But this team is now must-watch TV, in my opinion. Yeah. The San Antonio Spurs are trading for De'Aaron Fox in this deal. So this is a 3-team trade between the San Antonio Spurs, the Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. I'm just going to go over all of them, then we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. And man, did the Kings get a haul. The Kings are trading De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin to the San Antonio Spurs. The Kings are receiving Zach LaVine, Sydney Sissoko?
Sissoko. City Sissoko.
2025 first-round pick from the Hornets. 2027 first-round pick from the Spurs. 2031 first-round pick from the Timberwolves. And 3 second-round picks from the Bulls, Nuggets, and the Bulls again. And then the Chicago Bulls are receiving Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones, and a 2025 first-round pick via the Spurs. This is unreal.
Yeah, for the Spurs, there's so much to think about here. Let's just go team by team. First of all, I think the easiest one to talk about, the Spurs. They add De'Aaron Fox. Give him a grade. A+, F minus.
A+. This is awesome. This is something you go and do in 2K when you're like, oh, Wemby needs a running mate. Like, let me go get De'Aaron Fox. This trade deadline feels like we're in a My League. Like, you sim to, like, 2031, and, like, all of these guys are on, like, different teams. But, no, this is real life. This is actually happening. GMs are making the craziest trades I've ever seen in my life, and De'Aaron Fox is now Victor Wembanyama's running mate for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and that's going to be great for them. We just watched it.
We did.
Last night. They beat the Hawks in a 1-point game. De'Aaron Fox just adds so much shot making to that team, and I think Chris Paul is a great point guard for him, but they really don't have a scoring dominant guard.
Goodness.
I love
the backcourt.
We saw Devin Vassell, Wemby, and De'Aaron Fox all go for 20 plus last night. I think that's gonna be just a cheat code for them because now Devin Vassell has the third best defender on the floor, so he gets unlocked a little bit.
He's the highest paid player on the Spurs, and he's being guarded by the third best defender. It's awesome. I love to see a Chris Paul, De'Aaron Fox backcourt. It really makes me think of the Phoenix when they went to the finals. Like, Chris Paul goes in, he might be the greatest veteran you could play next to. He genuinely might be. Look back. Every team that he's ever joined, immediately better when Chris Paul joins the roster.
No rings, though.
Immediately better.
Zero rings.
The next season, the first season Chris Paul's with them. You saw what he did with Devin Booker. You saw what he did with SGA.
Yeah, he won a championship.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He's never won a championship.
I hate that you just said that, bro. That was horrible. Why are you doing that to me? I know we didn't win the ring. I was there. I watched every second of every game.
So he's not the best player you could add to your team.
Matter of fact, I watched half the games with you.
Yeah.
Dude, that was mean.
Sorry.
That wasn't cool.
I'm sorry.
That was a low blow, low-key.
I'm just saying.
You know how that makes me feel.
He's a great veteran guard.
That's what I've been saying.
He does not know how to win championships necessarily. He's not the best you could add, right?
I'm saying from a developmental standpoint, player development, Chris Paul is the best vet in the league.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. I think without question, most people can agree with me on the developmental side of basketball. When it comes to, learning from someone, you want Chris Paul on your team.
Actually, yeah, we did see that last night. Stephon Castle, who, by the way, played great, was getting reamed out in the middle of a play.
Yeah. Chris Paul was yelling at him.
He lets I forgot who it was. Someone drive
right
strong hand,
right hand layup,
and Chris Paul. They showed a little replay of it. Just so goes funny. Strong hand. What the?
He was like,
"Damn, man."
Yeah, he just goes, "Damn, man, damn."
Anyways, what were we saying? Let's move on to the Kings here. The Kings, they just get so much. Lot to talk about, but if you have to grade it,
Zach LaVine, dude.
Zach
LaVine, dude. Shout out Flight. From a Kings standpoint, they got a great return for De'Aaron Fox. I mean, you get Zach LaVine, and you also they got 3 first-round picks. They got more picks than Dallas did for Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Zach LaVine, who's actually having an incredible season, a resurgent season, you could say. He's earning his money. Definitely going to earn his money in Sacramento. Him and Debo spent 3 months apart, back together in Sacramento. The report was that Sacramento viewed Domantas Sabonis to be perfect alongside Zach LaVine to unlock Zach LaVine's full potential. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of, you got to see him play. I don't think the Kings, when you think from a player trade standpoint, who's going where, you get rid of De'Aaron Fox and you add Zach LaVine. I feel like that's not necessarily a wash, and I think if anything, De'Aaron Fox is a little better, but hopefully, what they're saying schematically, Zach LaVine can go gel together better with Domantas Sabonis. And if that happens, and if they can kind of stay at a similar, playing level, they've essentially just given themselves 3 more first-round picks for staying at the same level. I don't think they get better, though.
No, I don't think they get better, but what they want to do is they want the backcourt of Malik Monk and Zach LaVine to be pretty deadly. They want Malik Monk being more involved in the offense because he can score the ball and he can also facilitate.
Greatest high school mixtape of all time,
Malik Monk. But yeah, Malik Monk is a great player. I think him alongside Zach LaVine is pretty fun to watch. I do think that's a fun backcourt.
And now you don't have to watch the Bulls to watch Zach LaVine.
I know, You can watch the Beam team and watch Zach LaVine play with DeMar and Sabonis. That's fun. That's just fun basketball. I'm gonna give the Kings a solid, honestly, give them an A.
I give them an A because there's such an important first-round pick in here.
Yeah.
2025 first-round pick via the Hornets. That
could be Cooper Flagg.
That could be Cooper Flagg. We just saw the Hornets trade away both of their centers. The Hornets are just for the lack of a better term, a shit show.
Yeah.
However, they do have first-round picks besides this 2025 one that the Kings have.
Which is probably the most important pick, considering the talent in the 2025 NBA draft.
Yeah, you don't need Cooper Flagg for this draft to be worth it.
No.
Get top 10 and you'll
Dylan
pick up
Harper,
somebody.
Ace Bailey. Dude, I could go on and on about the 2025.
We will go on and on in another episode.
In another episode, we should talk about that. That'd be cool.
If you have to grade this trade for the Bulls,
I'm going to give the Bulls an A, to be honest with you. They got back their pick for this year. That's really important. Because they kind of suck. They kind of suck. To be honest with you, I thought Kobe White was going to get traded as well. And Nikola Vucevic, which is kind of weird. And I also thought Lonzo Ball would be moved, but they ended up paying Lonzo Ball a 2-year, $20 million extension, which is a great deal for Lonzo Ball. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just can't get over the fact that De'Aaron Fox is now teammates with Victor Wembanyama. In his first game, De'Aaron Fox put up 23 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And that's next to Chris Paul in the backcourt. It's fun to watch, man. It's awesome basketball.
I don't look at this Bulls trade as favorably for them. I think it's good that they get their own first round pick back because it's definitely going to be a good one. But when you just think about the value they've gotten for some of their players, we're talking about they trade away Zach LaVine, they traded away DeMar DeRozan as well.
Oh, they lost him.
Or they lost DeMar DeRozan.
Just lost him.
I should have said they should have traded DeMar DeRozan, right? For something more. I think they've had some talented players on their roster past couple years.
They have.
I don't think they've gotten anything from it. I mean, they have their own first-round pick back. You would like to see them get another one.
I'm pretty positive all they've gotten back for this is just that pick, essentially.
I mean, if you want to count Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, and Trey Jones.
Trey Jones is a great player.
Trey Jones has got some potential, but, Zach Collins and Kevin Huerter have been around long enough where you kind of know what they're going to do. You know what you're adding to your team. I don't know. I feel like the Bulls can get a C+ for this, just because in general, I feel like the organization has failed to build anything great for the future. I feel like the Bulls, besides Michael Jordan, have really actually been terrible.
Yo, they've been pretty ass. I mean, to be honest, they've gotten so unlucky. Dude, Derrick Rose, he gets hurt.
I know.
He was gonna be the next Jordan for Chicago, and he goes down with an injury after winning MVP, the youngest MVP ever. And then time passes. They're at the bottom of the league. They pick up Zach LaVine from Minnesota. He's supposed to be their savior, Chicago's savior. He goes in, he averages 26, and then they they miss the playoffs. They keep missing the playoffs. They draft Kobe White. They make some moves. They pick up in the 2021 offseason. They pick up Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan to team up with Zach LaVine, and they were actually the 1 seed, that year until Lonzo Ball gets hurt.
That's right.
Because that team was awesome.
And
that one offseason, they picked up Vooch, DeMar DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball. So going into the year, the Bulls had all the hype in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe White had a great season the year before. So everybody was like, holy shit, the Bulls are back. Chicago basketball's back. And then they're the 1 seed all the way up until I think it was around December. And then Lonzo Ball gets hurt.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine gets hurt. I think Debo missed some time. That was a season where DeMar DeRozan was hitting game winners left and right.
That's right, because he was definitely one of the he hit.
He averaged dead ass 25 that year.
And a game winner a month.
Yeah. No, literally, one-legged game winners and shit. It was cool.
I don't have much more for this trade. Do you?
No, Chicago, you need to figure it out, bro.
We can move on to some more minor trades before we get to some of the last big ones.
Do you want to look at the Quentin Grimes one?
Yeah. So
I actually like this one.
Yeah, if you want to talk about that one a little bit.
The 76ers are trading Caleb Martin to the Dallas Mavericks for Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second-round pick. Quentin Grimes goes to Philadelphia. Caleb Martin goes to Dallas. I think this is essentially what each team needed and what each team had to give up.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is like fairly almost a wash when you look at like a team standpoint. The Sixers needed another bucket to come off the bench. And then the Mavs, they could use the defense and Caleb Martin.
Yeah.
I like this trade. It's pretty
It's
even.
pretty beneficial for both teams.
Yeah. I wouldn't say anything is wrong with either team. If anything, I would say the Sixers get the slight edge because Quentin Grimes is young.
Yeah.
But other than that,
yeah,
it's not very like holy shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of like flew under the radar.
It's been a busy couple days for the Martin boys. They're probably gonna be moving around. We got another trade involving the Kings. They acquire Valanciunas from the Wizards. I know you kind of were thinking maybe you'd get your hands on Valanciunas the Suns. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, there was talks with Phoenix about Valanciunas for Nurkic swap. They're the same player. They both kind of suck.
I feel like Valanciunas
He's
can
a little bit
knock
better.
down some threes.
Yeah.
There.
Remember that one year when he started with New Orleans and he was like literally averaging 28 to start the year, and then he just like the decline that season for him was unreal.
Yeah, he led the league in 3-point percentage,
Dude,
or something like that.
In the first poll of MVP, he was dead ass 5th or like 4th. I remember that shit. What year was this, dude? Oh my god, what was it? 23, 2022. I was in high school still.
Yeah, we're in high school.
So 2022, 2023. Dude.
It wasn't 2023. I feel like it was 2021 or 2022.
Dude,
But
that was
21
awesome.
seems
Though.
too.
I remember that so vividly. I remember being on the bus, being like, "Holy shit!" Like Valanciunas cooked last night. Like looking at the scores from the night before. So, the Kings trade Valanciunas for Sidney Sissoko. Sissoko. Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
This is pretty irrelevant. Moving on.
Yeah, he's been moving a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Warriors. They're gonna acquire Jimmy from the Heat. He's finally out of that Miami locker room. Kind of probably some mixed emotions from the Miami team. I know they're a brotherhood there, right? You know, they're
brotherhood.
Well, maybe not towards the tail end of Jimmy being there, but you know, I think Udonis was talking about it a little bit. They were talking about the trade deadline in the NBA, and you know, Udonis Haslem was on. I think he had an interesting insight. Someone who knows so much about Miami Heat culture. He was saying, if there's someone that wants to be out of that locker room, out of that brotherhood, you know, having such a connected culture is what wins championships. You know, being with your teammates, not only being teammates but being friends. When someone wants to get out of there, they straight up have to get out. Like once Jimmy said he wanted to go, he had to go.
Yeah.
And they got a pretty good haul for him.
Definitely not what I was expecting.
Not what I was expecting, though. No.
Jimmy Butler's a Golden State Warrior. It's kind of weird because the past few days, to be honest with you, the Warriors have been concerned. Specifically, Steph Curry and Steve Kerr have been concerned how Jimmy Butler is going to be in the locker room. To be honest, Jimmy Butler is probably the perfect locker room guy, and I think this whole situation with Miami is just one of those things where it's like, there's going to be reports coming out later on this week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find out the whole entire story.
Yeah.
And I think it's something where we all saw the Jimmy Butler side of things, and now we're going to see the Miami Heat side of things.
Yeah, and, you know, what we hear from the Miami Heat side will change some opinions maybe, or maybe it doesn't, right?
And we know what Jimmy Butler does on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last game that he tried for the Miami Heat, I'm pretty sure he put up like a 37-point triple-double.
Yeah.
It was some crazy stuff.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, there's got to be – he's been the face of that Miami Heat team for so long now, and he's got a lot of teammates that have been with him there for a while.
2 NBA Finals appearances, 3 conference finals, 4 conference finals, something like that. Unreal. Before that, the Miami Heat sucked. They were in the middle of the pack. They were not even getting good draft picks. They drafted Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. They got lucky as hell.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, they got so lucky with those picks.
Yeah, Miami's like one of those teams that just refuses to tank. So if they're gonna be, you know, bad for a while, they're not gonna be bad. They're just gonna be like 8 seed bad. You know what I mean? They're not gonna get a good draft pick. They're not gonna, you know, tank and get good players out of the draft. You know, if they get good players out of the draft, it's just because they draft well. And you know, we know Miami does that. they received Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, and a protected first-round pick, and the Warriors receive Jimmy Butler. I'm actually not sure if all those players I named are actually going to be going to the Heat. There might be a third team involved.
The only player on this list that is actually going to Miami is Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder was traded to Utah, who was then traded to the Detroit Pistons. It's a great pickup for the Pistons. I love Dennis Schroeder. He's going to figure his shot out. He's a journeyman, though. It's kind of what happens. He earns his spots in the rotation. He's a great player. He got paid this past summer by the Brooklyn Nets, who ended up flipping him. I think that's a great, smart move by the Brooklyn Nets. And now he's on the Detroit Pistons, and I think he's going to be great for them off the bench.
Yeah.
Kyle Anderson is heading to Toronto as part of this deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Miami Heat get Andrew Wiggins pretty much and a protected first-round pick, and I'm pretty sure they get more picks, but it's very intricate.
Yeah.
There's so many teams involved. The big thing here is that the Golden State Warriors are getting Jimmy Butler.
The rest of it's still unclear. Like we said, the initial report is we know Kyle Anderson, Wiggins, and Schroeder are not going to be Warriors anymore.
No.
Figuring out where they fall and maybe where some draft picks fall as well, that's going to be for the rest of this week. We haven't really received good word on where everyone's falling.
I want to stay on this for a minute.
Sure.
Me as a Phoenix Suns fan, I've been tripping this past week.
Yeah, you didn't think this is the trade that was going to go down.
No. 2 days ago, before Kevin Durant was ever spoken to, the framework of a trade was set, and it was ready to be accepted with the approval of Kevin Durant. The trade would have sent Kevin Durant to the Golden State Warriors, Jimmy Butler to the Phoenix Suns, as well as Draymond Green to the Phoenix Suns, and then Andrew Wiggins would be in Miami. Kevin Durant said no, he didn't want to go back to Golden State. Thank Jesus.
Which I'm surprised, man. Really?
I'm not. He doesn't like Draymond, bro. And Steph Curry doesn't want to leave Draymond.
I guess he doesn't like Draymond, but, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done in Phoenix. That's the only problem for me.
Yeah.
But, maybe he's kind of at a point where he really doesn't need to win championship. Well, if you're in the NBA, you want to win the championship. But he's not at a point where he wants to get up and move his life. He wants to
definitely
win
not.
a championship.
And I think that's where getting up and moving your life, that's where Bradley Beal comes in. He is one of two players in the NBA with a no-trade clause, the other being LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
This whole time, Jimmy Butler has been trying to force his way to Phoenix, and that just didn't happen. The main reason of that not happening was Bradley Beal's no-trade clause. I don't think people understand a no-trade clause in the NBA. That is, you hold all the cards, and Bradley Beal came out and said that. He controlled exactly what was happening this NBA trade deadline, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Bradley Beal has changed the entire landscape of the NBA, and by sending Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors, it should have been Bradley Beal to the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler to the Phoenix Suns, but that just didn't happen because Bradley Beal didn't want to uproot his family. And to be honest, I don't blame him. I actually love Bradley Beal. I think he's very underrated in his role in the Phoenix Suns. But he's not the greatest, and he's not the best fit. I think Jimmy Butler is a better fit for the Phoenix Suns, especially on this roster. Defensively, and when it comes to just having that dog in the locker room, having that guy that's going to protect everybody on the court, it's exactly what Phoenix needs, and we missed out big time.
Yeah, and I think you miss out on a good amount of, kind of the grit and grind, play style that Jimmy Butler has. I think he makes defenses work a little harder than a Bradley Beal does, just because he's always moving. He goes to the paint a lot, and he gets some harder-earned buckets, backing into the basket, shooting some mid-range jumpers too. I think he just puts more pressure on the defense than a Brad Beal would. But again, you've got the team you've got.
And you know what? To be honest with you, I can't even complain because Kevin Durant is still on the roster, and that's what I was worried about this whole time. I have been very stressed out. I've been worshiping Kevin Durant this past week because I love Kevin Durant. He's one of two reasons I watch the Phoenix Suns. Him and Devin Booker. Yeah, I've been worshiping. Dude, I have his jersey hanging up in my room. I'm praying to him every day. Phoenix Suns, please don't trade him. And thank God it worked. So I was not ready for a Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler swap. No, God, no, I was not ready.
Oh yeah, as of half an hour ago, I forgot to report on this before because we were in the middle of talking about a trade. It's nothing big. It's just going to be that the Wizards are sending Marvin Bagley III to the Grizzlies as part of a deal.
Oh.
That's it.
Awesome. No specificity at all.
No specificity as to who else is being traded.
But I like that pickup for Memphis. That's cool. That is cool. Marvin Bagley's playing pretty good this year, and I think Memphis got a lot of grit and grind in that team, and Memphis is always like that. Dude.
Yeah,
they're always like that.
Back
when they had Zebo, Marcus Gasol, Mike Conley, Tony Allen. Oh my God, Tony Allen.
Yeah, Tony Allen.
We got to get going with the trades, though.
Yeah, this was another big whale from today. Actually, we got a couple trades left. Some rolled in last minute. This is really the last big one. Do you want to save that for last, or do you want it?
No, this isn't the last big one.
No.
Let's go.
Kinda.
We didn't write it down in here. But can you pull up?
Which one did you want to talk
about?
One
we're going to listen. The Brandon Ingram trade.
No, that's right. Yeah. Here, if you want to start breaking that down, I'll get it all written down. We can see it right.
To be honest with you, I don't know the nitty-gritty details of that trade right now. All I know is Brandon Ingram is a Toronto Raptor, and I'm pretty sure he got traded for Bruce Brown, someone else, and a pick.
Raptors get Brandon Ingram in trade with Pelicans. So, from the official at Shams Charania, breaking the New Orleans Pelicans have traded Brandon Ingram to the Toronto Raptors for Bruce Brown Jr., Kelly Olynyk, 1 first-round pick, and 1 second-rounder.
I like it.
I think the Pelicans should have got more. I don't know. How good is Brandon Ingram? I feel like
he's an all-star.
I know he's good, but he's kind of that, perpetual 8 seed good. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, Brandon Ingram has never been in a good situation.
I know. Put him on a good team, he could really.
Toronto Raptors aren't a bad team. Now they have a lineup with, who's their point guard? Is it Emmanuel Quickly?
Is it IQ? I don't know if he's injured. Actually, there's been so much movement, bro. I think he's there.
I think it's Emmanuel Quickly, and I'd assume they'd throw R.J. Barrett back at the 2. Let Brandon Ingram play the 3. Yeah. Scotty Barnes at the 4, then Jakob Poeltl at the 5. That's not a bad lineup. To be honest with you, that's a competitive lineup. They're not the deepest team in the world, so their bench is going to be kind of mid. But, dude, that's a good pickup for the Toronto Raptors. And, I don't know if Brandon Ingram's going to stay in Toronto. It's in Canada, so I don't know if he's going to want to stay there. I know he's a free agent pretty soon, but in my opinion, that's a great trade for the Toronto Raptors. They did not give up much at all, to be honest with you, for a player of Brandon Ingram's caliber.
Yeah, I would have rather seen Brandon Ingram go to a team that's contending right now. But him going over to the Eastern Conference, I think he might just be able to play some bad teams, and maybe this Raptors squad will get going. But I really don't know what the Raptors are.
Can you check what place they're in? What place are the Raptors?
That's what I'm thinking. Is the Raptors aren't even good this year.
I think they're
I don't know, but then again, in the Eastern Conference, you can really get going anywhere. No, they're 13th in the East.
And what's their record?
They are 16-35, 25 games out of first place in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but dude, they can catch up. They can totally catch up.
So just to put that in perspective, the final play-in spot, the 10 seed, which is controlled by the Bulls right now, they are 22-30. Man, this Eastern Conference sucks when you look at it right in front of you.
Oh, the Bulls are 20-30. Oh, 22-30, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what? They're 6 games out of the play-in? That's so doable. That is, especially with Brandon Ingram, that offense is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing is the future. I think that's what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at next season, I think they're going to try to find something for Jakob Poeltl, find a new home for him in the offseason. I wouldn't be surprised. It's a cool core. I don't really understand why they did that, to be honest with you, but I think it might be just a future thing. Brandon Ingram, a bucket next to Scotty Barnes, who's their franchise guy who can defend like Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Now,
this is a fleece,
this is the big one that honestly I think the Cavaliers just did exactly what they wanted to. They get DeAndre Hunter, and the Hawks receive Georges Niang, Karis LeVert, 3 second-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. I'll get the specificity of those pick swaps. Those should be
second-rounders probably.
But what are your initial reactions?
DeAndre Hunter is averaging 20 points a game this year, and you just throw him on the best team in the NBA. second best maybe.
Oh,
I think the Cavs fleeced the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks should have gotten at least a first-round pick for DeAndre Hunter. If I'm not wrong, he was like top 15 in the draft when 2018 when he got drafted, 2019. He's a great player. He's averaging 20 a game. He can shoot the shit out of the ball.
Again, second round picks, they can be good, It's good to have a lot of second round picks, I guess.
Jokic.
Jokic, Manu Ginobili,
Isaiah Thomas.
IT.
Isaiah Thomas, man.
But again, you get the Cavaliers I just want to say this again. The Cavaliers are getting DeAndre Hunter, someone who's averaging 20 points a game right now. And they're getting rid of Karis LeVert, who's been great. Georges Niang, who he's all right.
It's making me laugh, dude. This
and
is
then
bad.
The rest of this trade is second round picks. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Is DeAndre Hunter just like not that good in the eyes of the Hawks? Do they not think DeAndre Hunter they couldn't have gotten more?
Yo, I think the Hawks are mad dumb. They just traded DeAndre Hunter for literally a bag of chips to the top seed in the East, who's had the best offense in the league and a top 10 defense in the league the entire year. Or they might be like middle of the pack defensively.
I don't know. It's just the Hawks. I don't know what the Hawks are doing right now. They're not contending for anything. They get some shooting to put around Trae Young, who's averaging over, 11 assists a game. But does that matter at this point? You want Trae Young to solo squad this thing?
In my opinion, today they just traded their two best shooters on the roster, other than Trae Young. They traded away DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovich today.
Yeah, actually, if we wanted,
the next trade, the Los Angeles Clippers are trading Terrence Mann and Bones Highland to the Atlanta Hawks for Bogdanovich, who is a sniper. And for some reason, the Atlanta Hawks didn't want him on the squad anymore. This is really weird, man. I don't really know what the Hawks are doing. I was expecting at least a second-round pick for Bogdanovich. I know that's what they were looking for. Terrence Mann is a good player, but he's not Bogdanovich good.
No, definitely not. Like, I'm just trying to look up.
And Bones Highland can't even guard a Celsius sitting here. So I don't understand what the Atlanta Hawks are doing, to be fully honest with you. This is weird.
Yeah, Terrence Mann, he can hoop. But I just don't get it.
He can't hoop like Bogdanovich can.
No, he can't. He can't shoot as well. And as we said, Bones Highland, he's flashy, but he can't defend a parked car. So
it's unreal, bro. I don't really understand half of these trades. A lot of these, like the Atlanta Hawks, it's so weird because like there's been so many reports specifically for the Atlanta Hawks, like, oh, they're gonna move Trae Young, or oh, they're looking to get rid of Clint Capella. Oh, they want to move Bogdanovich. They want to move DeAndre Hunter. I mean, the DeAndre Hunter news was literally yesterday that they wanted to trade him, and the Cleveland Cavaliers called him right away and got a deal done. Great job, Cleveland. You're improving your roster even better than it was before. That Cleveland team is something to be messed with.
Not to be messed with.
Not to be messed with. Yeah, I would not be surprised if they, screw around and win the whole thing. Like,
I would just, you know what? All I ask is that the Eastern Conference Finals is not another Pacers situation where the Pacers get in when they're not supposed to. Like, I want it to be either Celtics Cavs or Celtics Knicks or Knicks Cavs.
NBA.
Something like
NBA, that. I need you to please give me a Eastern Conference semifinals. Please. I'm begging you. Celtics, Knicks, Cavs, and the Bucks. Please. Please put those. Oh my goodness.
A good Eastern side of the playoffs, maybe. Just,
Do you understand?
The Eastern
NBA, you want ratings. Get those 4 teams in the conference finals. Any one of those teams in the finals, electric.
Yeah.
And then on the West,
you can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong in the West at this point. You actually cannot go wrong in the West at this point. You got Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry on the Golden State Warriors. Luka Doncic and LeBron James are teammates, which I still can't fathom.
And then the slew of other good teams that are
Anthony
just
Davis,
there.
Kyrie Irving, Victor Wembanyama, and De'Aaron Fox. Like, that's a playoff team now. It's unreal. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker,
and then
SGA and them.
The teams that added better players on the Western Conference
bro.
you want to watch.
Yeah.
Also, the teams that didn't do anything that are already good in the Western Conference, still want to watch because even the Thunder get better this trade deadline because they receive news that Chet Holmgren is going to be coming back.
Yeah, I just saw that too. That was awesome.
That's another thing for them to be excited about because they've managed to stay on pace with the other best team in the league, the Cavs, without their second best player, third best player. Where do you rank Chet in terms of that kind of big three that OKC has? Second, first, third?
To be honest with you, I think he's the second best player on the team. He just hasn't played this year. If it was him playing and not J-Dub, he'd be the All-Star, not J-Dub.
Okay.
But J-Dub does get the All-Star nod, which the All-Stars pissed me off this year. I'm actually mad about him.
We know.
Do I really want to talk about the All-Stars?
I don't even think we got time.
No. No, we have time. It's just Devin Booker wasn't selected, and I'm pretty pissed.
His boy wasn't in.
D-Book not being picked over James Harden in my mind right now that's just unreal. Every statistic, like dead ass, Devin Booker's better, and except for assists per game.
Yeah, but
literally,
you know what?
Efficiency, points, rebounds.
But the reserves, they're voted on by the coaches,
which is still weird.
I know, but
congrats, the Clippers have a better record. Whoop-de-doo-dah.
You have your answer. Coaches in the NBA have a harder time planning for James Harden than they do for Devin Booker.
Stop it, bro.
I'm just saying.
It's
or
crazy.
Else they wouldn't have voted that way.
It is crazy, though, because Harden last year, remember looking at his stats, we're like, damn, this dude's washed.
Yeah.
He's averaging like 16 and some shit.
Oh, yeah.
But this year he's back up to 22 a game, averaging like 8 assists again. It's like, damn, Harden's back. And it's actually crazy how much PG was holding him back. And then you're seeing PG being the third option. He's kind of sucking in that role.
Yeah. Yeah. And
better as of late, but it's like he hasn't played in about a week. Last game he played, I think he had like 30 points. He's had some knee injury problems, but it's like, damn, Philly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for 16 points per game. Let me tell you, I know something about that. The Phoenix Suns are paying Bradley Beal $50 million to go average 17 off the bench.
So we're at about 4:00. It's about an hour after the trade deadline. Everything that was coming in has come in. Here are a couple of the ones that just kind of rolled in as we were getting started. We got James Wiseman to the Raptors for cash. We don't know how much.
For cash. Dude, I love seeing trades where it's like, oh, we're going to trade you for money.
Yeah, so you might as well write in there James Wiseman for a new printer. Honestly, right?
James Wiseman has been traded for a printer.
Or new chairs for everybody.
Oh, maybe new chairs.
Wasn't that the Office episode? New chairs or a printer. That was like the decision.
To the Raptors? Maybe the Raptors are going to like buy some like Prime products with that, because aren't they like they're a Prime affiliate, I'm pretty sure.
Kevin Porter Jr. is going to go to the Bucks for how do you say this last name? Beauchamp?
Marion Beauchamp. Beauchamp was supposed to be like a promising young guy for the Bucks.
Yes, I remember that.
I think they gave up on him.
Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr. is also like a younger guy. I think that's going to be a bigger deal later on than people probably realize. Beauchamp can probably make some pretty impactful minutes for the Clippers if they give him some time.
Yeah, and it depends on, Kevin Porter Jr., playing well as well. Marcus Smart is involved in another trade. He's going to go to the Wizards. Poor soul. For 2 second-round picks. Man.
Dude, backcourt, Jordan Poole, Marcus Smart. They got Chris Middleton at the 3. Bro, ain't nobody care. You're the Washington Wizards. You are the worst franchise in sports, bro.
Shout out to our friend of the show, Sean Wallace. He's a big Wizards fan. I don't think he's going to watch a Wizards game for the next couple of years.
Nah, dude, if I'm him, I'm kind of hyped for this rest of the season to watch the games. Said literally nobody ever.
Nobody ever. And then the last one that we were talking about, Dennis Schroeder can add another jersey to his collection of, ridiculous amount of teams he's played for.
He could probably build 2 rainbows at this point.
Yeah. Dennis Schroeder traded to Detroit from Utah. We don't even know for what.
Yeah, I literally have no idea.
It's just he's going to Detroit.
Detroit basketball.
Did he even get a jersey in Utah? Was he even there long enough to get a jersey?
No, he was definitely not there long enough to get a jersey in Utah.
They should still give him one. Next time Detroit plays in Utah, they should give him a little jersey.
It's like when Russ got traded to Utah. He never played for them. He didn't even get a jersey. Like Melo on the Hawks, which Melo actually has his Hawks jersey. Number 15. Atlanta Hawks, Carmelo Anthony.
Ugh.
Ugly.
That's so weird.
Gross, dude. That's actually, like, so weird.
Yeah, and Dennis Schroeder wraps up all the trades that we have on here. Unless there's any more rolling in.
I don't think there's any more rolling in. I do want to just kind of, like, as a whole, this is the craziest NBA trade deadline in NBA history.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was alive to be witnessing all this because, to be honest, I'm going to look back years from now and be like, yo, remember when Luka got traded to the Lakers? Like, think about this. We're supposed to know Luka Doncic as the greatest Maverick of all time because that's Dirk right now, and it will forever be Dirk now. Yeah. But it was supposed to be Luka Doncic. I mean, when you got a guy that's coming in his first 6 seasons, All-NBA first team 5 times, All-Star 5 times.
He's one of 3 players for his career to average 25-7.
He is third in NBA history in points per game.
Yeah.
Already at the age of 25. And now he's going to be a Laker legend. Dude, the Lakers are the most spoiled franchise in sports.
Well, you know what? It's not even like because, yes, they have the money. And I don't even think it's because they have all the money in the world. Obviously, it helps.
All right, yeah.
But ultimately, they've acquired these superstars that have carried their team over the last, decades via trade. When it comes down to it, I guess the Lakers front office has just got to be one of the most impressive front offices throughout NBA history, being able to get this many trades done.
Think about it.
To bring in generational talent. No other franchise has been.
They go from Jerry West to Magic Johnson to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Well, yeah, you got the order a little mixed up. I think it was Jerry West,
Magic Johnson,
Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson.
No, sorry, Jerry, Chamberlain, Kareem.
No, Magic.
Sorry.
Then Kareem joins Magic, and then they get freaking Kobe Bryant and Shaq.
Like,
are you shitting me?
Yeah.
And then when Kobe's done, okay, that's cool. 2 years later, LeBron James signs with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
The GM came to town. A year after that, they traded for Anthony Davis. And now they flipped Anthony Davis. By the way, they won the ring in 2020.
Yeah, they did.
Win a championship with AD and LeBron, and they trade AD to go get Luka Doncic to be the face of that franchise for the next 10 years. What the hell?
Yeah, and so far, they have not been done dirty by doing any of this. They've won championships with every single superstar they've brought in. I can only imagine the cycle continues with Luka Doncic. I mean, think about it. How long he's got to play there.
They didn't have a center as of 3 hours ago. As of a day ago. And last night they picked one up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, goddamn.
Yeah. So there's a lot to kind of look forward, thinking about.
A lot to unpack.
I'm kind of excited for just like 5 years to go by, and we can look back and see definitive winners and losers here. But
that is cool.
5 years doesn't pass that quickly.
No.
So
we need to wait 5 years for that to actually happen. But we get to watch the glory of the NBA that is now the new landscape of the NBA.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. I'm loving it. We're going to see the next great duo in Wemby and De'Aaron Fox. I mean, again, it's Victor Wembanyama's second season in the NBA, and he's an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to end up all-NBA. I'd probably predict he's end up on the all-NBA third team, second team. I'm genuinely going to be shocked if Victor Wembanyama was not all-NBA this year.
And, I mean, defensively he adds a lot.
Oh, my goodness. That's not even, like he's better on defense than offense, and that's, like, crazy.
He should be DPOY. I feel like if you vote for anyone else, or if you think anyone else will win Defensive Player of the Year besides Wemby, you're just trying to be different.
Yeah, you try to be different, bro. If you're like, no, Rudy Gobert. Dude.
I'm pretty sure that was you. I think you tried to be different when we chose our Defensive Player of the Year. Because you literally said it's a given that it's Wemby.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But, like, I want Bam to win one so bad, and he's just never gonna because Wemby's in the league now. Like, I deadass expect only Wemby and Giannis to win the next Defensive Player of the Year for, like, the next 10 years.
Seriously.
Like, maybe Yeah, no. Screw that.
Nothing.
Just them.
Nobody.
Nobody else.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot more to unpack in future episodes regarding going forward.
You know what I'm surprised? What is shocking to me is the Minnesota Timberwolves didn't do anything.
The T-Wolves.
And the Julius Randle experiment is not going very well.
Yeah. They try this experiment with Julius Randle. They realize, oh, crap. Karl Anthony Towns is a lot better. And not just a lot better than Julius Randle. He's a lot better than Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle combined, because that team won more games with Cat, and now we're seeing the Knicks reap those benefits. The Knicks have been so good.
My God, bro. The Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns and the Knicks is an MVP candidate.
Yeah. Also quiet at the trade deadline, but rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Knicks, I'm not touching that roster. They moved Jericho Sims today, but he didn't do shit. He didn't really play for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode.
Yeah, there's definitely there's some more we could talk about, but I think we're gonna leave that for future episodes. People who stayed quiet at the deadline. There's a lot of teams that stayed quiet, but we can get deeper into that.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time we will have the Jack Haskell joining us, because he is a co-host on this show. Thank you for watching this episode of Above the Rim, joined by James Derrick, as always. Peace.